Hello everyone, welcome back to the Daily Gold YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me. This video is being recorded on the late afternoon of Friday, October 11th, 2024. Fall is in full swing, and in this video, I am going to talk about gold and silver and a little bit more about the miners. And it looks to me like potentially, with respect to the metals, we could have another leg higher before we get a correction, but that could be subject to change. Hope you all had a great week. And with that, let's get right to the video. So starting off here, we have the daily bar charts, the daily candle charts. Gold right here, silver right here. For gold, we have the 50-day here, the 100-day moving average below it. This is the gold divided by S&P 500 ratio, gold divided by the stock market. If you follow my work, you know I love to talk about that. But let's get into the price action first and foremost. So gold selling off, weakening this week, but a good end of the week here. Maybe it consolidates a little bit more before going above 2,700. But, I could have put in a line here, but this is where it bounced. And this is a pretty good bounce. So even if we get some more selling and it comes back again, I suspect we will get more buying. Closing at the high of the day, that's bullish and is positive for the short term to come. Looking at silver, on the other hand, this is setting up as a nice little consolidation here. 32.5, this is daily resistance. We can see here it's struggling at this level. But this could be a potential cup. And so more consolidation here for 2, 3, 4 more weeks. That could set up a handle. You know that I love to talk about cup and handle patterns. One issue for silver, and by the way, I didn't touch this line since a few weeks ago, so it did bounce here just above 30. Still have really strong support here at 29, 200-day moving average here. But, this could be like a potential mini double top here, where you have a top here, distribution here, it comes right back, fails again in the same way. Then you get a hard sell-off to begin the week, but then silver stabilized. Also, the last 2 days, it closed at the highs of each day. Now, I'm not showing the weekly chart, but the weekly chart shows kind of an ugly candle, but it's only one candle. But nevertheless, 32.5 is resistance here. You have this low at 27. So this, if we get more consolidation here and correction, this could set up, potential for a measured upside target of about 37. I've talked a lot about 34 and 35. But, you can have 35 being monthly resistance and still on a daily and weekly time frame, you could have silver trade up to 36 or 37 before coming back down. So I know I'm just babbling on here, but, little concern here with this technical damage, but give it some time and consolidation like this that can mitigate that technical damage. And, assuming we get a clear breakout above 32.50 for silver, silver should test 35, maybe even 36 or 37 on that move. Gold against the S&P 500 down here, it peaked back here when gold shot up here. So gold, this is compared to where gold is now, gold has made this move, and gold to the stock market is down here. So that's a negative divergence. I don't know. In the short term, in the next month or two, could we see gold, make this breakout above 0.49 or 0.50. I don't know. The stock market still moved up to a new high. And I said it before a few weeks ago, gold can probably get to 3,000 now without this ratio breaking above the 0.50 resistance. So that's my short to medium term upside target, 3,000 for gold and for silver 35. Now, I'm going to talk more about the stocks, well, mostly about the stocks from here on out. So here we have GDX down here. It's testing this resistance going back to 2020. This is the advanced decline line. So this is a participation indicator. It's a breadth indicator. So it's measuring every day what percentage or how many stocks in the sector are rising versus falling. And so when a market is its strongest and healthiest internally, you will see very, very strong participation. To give an example, you want a market where if you have 10 stocks, you want those 10 stocks to be rising. You could have a market where the market's going up because 2 stocks are doing a moonshot and the other 8 are not doing anything. That's not internally healthy, because eventually those 2 stocks will stop rising. Then you have 10 stocks that aren't doing anything. So that's my quick example. But the GDX advanced decline line, several months ago, there were some positive divergences. And before we get to a interim peak in the miners, we'll probably see some kind of negative divergence setting up in the advanced decline line. And we don't see that yet. I mean, this is still quite strong. It's just a solid uptrend here. If you look where GDX was, for example, if you look like GDX back here, it's done this. It's a little bit higher than it was in May. If you look at here, this is way higher. So slowly but surely, the advanced decline line is showing more strength than GDX. That's a very good sign for the short term. Okay, let's look at gold stocks against the stock market. We can say this is a failed breakout here, but still the ratio is holding above the 200-day moving average, which is sloping up. That's what we love to see, is when long-term moving averages are sloping up. The slope of moving averages is very important. Same thing here. So this is GDXJ against the stock market. This is GDX against the stock market. And again, this is a failed breakout here, but it's not necessarily bearish, because the ratio is coming right back to resistance and it's still holding nicely above these long-term moving averages. So the stock market made a new all-time high today. Let's see in the short term if we can get, can we get a move where it moves like this? I'd love to see that. I'm not sure, but this bears watching. Maybe we do get some kind of a move like this briefly before we get an interim peak in the sector. And it's one thing to own GDX and GDXJ, but if you pick and invest in the right stocks, you are going to outperform the sector. And that's what we do at the Daily Gold Premium. I'm looking for the juniors that have the best combination of quality, fundamental quality, and then upside potential. And I still think we're in that kind of a market where you have to go with quality ahead of the things that, maybe they're a better value and they have more flaws, and if gold goes to 4,000, they can really rip. I don't think it's time to get into those stocks yet, based on what I'm seeing. So I'm focused on the high quality stuff that I think can still do 3x, 5x, 10x over the next 2, 3, 4 years if this bull market continues. So would love to have you aboard at the Daily Gold Premium. Check it out if you haven't already. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Let's get to the rest of the video. Okay, quarterly charts are more significant than monthly, which is more significant than weekly, which is more significant than daily. Do you remember last year when, at the end of last year, gold, I believe at the end of November, gold made a new monthly all-time high? It hadn't broken 2,100, but in terms of the monthly chart, it had already broken out. And then at the end of December, you had a quarterly all-time high in gold. Now that was ahead of the breakout above 2,100 in the weekly and daily charts. And so we are seeing something similar in GDX and GDXJ, because you look at the quarterly chart and this monthly chart, they've already broken past GDX in the last 2 months. I mean, this has already broken past this resistance. This is really close. I mean, this close last month, this was the second highest close in 11 years. So this is clearly broken out above this level. Same thing for GDXJ in here, where it clearly broke above this level. So you don't see this yet on the weekly and daily charts, but this is an indication that it's probably going to happen, that you will see a breakout follow on the weekly and daily charts. Speaking of the daily charts, here we have GDX, GDXJ, SILJ, and again, so here's GDX. It's already broken out past here and right here on the monthly chart, but not yet on the daily chart. We can see it's right here battling this resistance around 40. There's some at 42. So we'll keep an eye on this to see if GDX can push up and break above this level right here. You could get some more buying coming in. A move like this, that probably aligns with gold going to 2,800. Same thing with GDXJ. I told you it's already broken above here in monthly terms, but not quite in the daily. We can see here, you call this, is this resistance at 46, 47, this lower line. So it's been testing it. It looked like a couple days ago it provided support. So there is more resistance here on the daily. Call this 50, 50 and a half. So it'll look to try and break that the next week or two. Let's wrap it up with SILJ and the silver juniors. I love this. I love the setup in this stock. Double bounce here at the 200-day moving average. It's rising. Remember I mentioned the slope. I kind of love this double bottom. And this, I don't know what to call this, but it's bullish. You have a shoulder right here, a double bottom for the head. This is a smaller shoulder here. So it's like a complex inverted head and shoulders pattern, or it can be a continuation inverse head and shoulders because it's continuing this move like this. So I really like how this is setting up here in the silver juniors. This could, if the sector makes a nice move higher, I bet this can pop. And, I didn't look at this here, but 10, 10.50, 2.5, you could have another $2.5, $3 above here. So what would that give you? 16, 16 and a half. So this could pop up here. So really interesting action in the silver juniors. And last thing on the stocks, I did put out a flash update a couple days ago when I said it looks to me like we're at a short-term bottom. We should get a bounce. And, I'm not always right, but, the market was oversold. I tweeted about how we saw bullish hammers in the candles, put out a flash update, and we did get a really nice move in some of our stocks. The last couple of weeks, our portfolio has been rising steadily, even during this correction. So stock picking is important, people. And with that, hope you had a great week. Thank you so much for staying with me until the end. Hope you have a great weekend ahead. And leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what you're thinking about the market in our sector right now. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you guys again on Monday.